So, to no surprise of anybody, the Republicans are not taking the birthright citizenship well. I mean, take a look at this.
Where's our Tom Homan went off on the court's decision yesterday.
But on the national security issue, let's just play that out, Tom, right? You've got these Chinese birth tourism centers. A kid could be born here, taken back to China, raised under the Chinese Communist Party with that education system, and then have American citizenship to come back with those beliefs and run for the highest offices in the land and have power here in America.
So when the Supreme Court makes this ruling, they are just outright ignoring what was written by the exact same guy who wrote the amendment. No, you should not be able to be here as a foreign person, as an...
If you have birthright citizenship, it means if a person comes here 9 months pregnant to go look around at some things, in a couple of weeks, that is the mother of a lifetime American citizen and a direct line into American cash and welfare for the rest of that child's life. Right? So you have to
Are we banning pregnant women from America? Are we banning foreign pregnant women?
The idea that somebody who was 9 months pregnant and walked over the border 5 minutes ago and pushed their baby out on U.S. soil is just as much an American citizen as the people who were either born here or who went through the lengthy, difficult, challenging, expensive immigration process to earn their U.S. citizenship should be infuriating to everybody.
And that's just the start. That's just a fraction of them. Ones that people actually listen to, ones that MAGA focuses on because they believe that they're the experts. They're not. They may act like the experts and they may be the subject matter expert for MAGA, but that does not mean what they're saying is accurate. In fact, most of what they're saying is inaccurate. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one, the one with Ben Shapiro showing Fox News with Tom Homan. All right, so the first thing that they're doing is they're talking about the possibility of Chinese. Guess what? They've been talking about that since 1866. Since 1866, they've brought it up. In fact, the people that they were most focused on were gypsies and the Chinese. Not even a joke. That's what they were concerned about. In fact, it was even brought up that that they've been talking about the gypsies more times in the past 2 to 3 months during the debates for birthright citizenship than they'd heard their entire life. It was complete and total enragement, exactly what they're doing today. And then let's go ahead and talk about what the older millennial is going to say. Now, the older millennial also is one of those people that just goes to push whatever he thinks he can find really quick to solve the problem. And he brings up the fact that there's the diplomats. Yeah, congratulations, they're diplomats. They don't get U.S. jurisdiction. That is one of the privileges of being a diplomat. But at the same point in time, because they are not under the U.S. jurisdiction, that is the reason why their children, if they are born in the United States, do not get U.S. citizenship. Now let's get into Jesse Waters and Stephen Miller. That's just complete fear-mongering. Absolute fear-mongering, what they're doing right there. I mean, Stephen Miller sitting there saying, oh, they're going to come in here to take all of our welfare, take all of our cash. And then the disgusting comments from Jesse Waters sitting there saying that we should just ban all women. Really? What about what about the woman that gets her a scholarship to a U.S. school because she busted her ass to get into this school, and then 6 months later, while she's in school, she turns around and gets raped? You want to deport her so that because she's pregnant? It's absolutely disgusting. I get that Fox News is an entertainment group and not a news source, but considering how many people actually consider Fox News actual news, the propaganda is absolutely dangerous. But we can also go ahead and talk about what the administration, what Congress have also considered doing over this birthright citizenship, because they can't take no for an answer, because it's either what they want or nothing. Well, the first thing that they want to do is they want to sit there and call the Supreme Court corrupt, because, it's 1/3 nominated by the current sitting president anyways. And and he's even called them corrupt if they don't answer in his way. But just like how or we have the fraudulent voter scam that they like to push, it's either they win and it's free and fair, or they lose and it's corrupt and it's cheating. And that shit has to stop. They've also considered talking about bills. Well, I hate to break it to you, bills do not override amendments. It would immediately get shut down by the Supreme Court again after months of court battles. The same exact thing that we had to go through the first time. He signed that executive order on day one of being in office, and we just heard about it. We just got the Supreme Court answer. That's how long it took to fix. But perhaps that's one of the things that MAGA actually wants to do is they want to tie up the courts so that way they can do what they want to push their own narrative even for a temporary period of time, just to turn around and get it shut down later on. Perhaps that is exactly what they want to do. Is just waste the people's time and break the Constitution on purpose. Lord knows half of them don't even understand the Constitution. However, there is one person that did actually come up with a valid idea in Congress, and that would be none other than fifth place Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace pushed a amendment. She wants to pass an amendment to abolish birthright citizenship if somebody's here undocumented. Well, at this point in time, I honestly don't know how that would go. Our Congress is so divided right now. Do you really think that we would get 66% of the vote? Do you really think that you would get 66% of the vote in the House or the Senate at this current time? So, in all honesty, this is all just a waste of time. There are things that are more important right now than dealing with whether or not somebody gets to have citizenship in this great United States. Yeah, sure. Are there going to be people that take advantage of it? Absolutely. There are going to be people that take advantage of every single loophole. We see it every year with the taxes. Every year. There's a bunch of different loopholes for people to take advantage of. That's the main reason why we have a trillionaire today. And quite frankly, I don't care that Elon Musk became a trillionaire. He used the loopholes because they were there. And so I can't get mad at him for that. However, it's just to prove a point that they will always use loopholes to get what they want, no matter who you are. Anyways, that's all I have right now on this specific topic, but just